Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and I'm really actually super excited to review Ready to Love Season 3, Episode 2. The first episode was literally just introductions, and we'll get to know people as this goes along. And I'm also going to be inserting pictures because I finally know what I'm doing. Okay. I'm excited. Anyway, let's continue. So I was really excited for season 3 because season 2 was juicy, and it looks like this one is actually going to be at a resort. So no one's leaving. The other one where people went on dates and they would, they would see each other every few days like regular couples in the real world, which made actually more sense. They've decided to go ahead and put them on a resort where they're now living with the people that's dating everybody else, and oh, it's going to be such a hot mess, and I'm so excited, okay? So one of the first people that we meet is Kalfani, okay? And Kalfani is Kalfine, okay? Lord have mercy. Just a lot of big, gorgeous chocolate, right? So he obviously is a trainer, and he comes off like not super cocky, but very, very confident. And he meets up with, there's a girl named Joy there. She's got a huge fro that I am so jealous of. I was actually watching some other reviews and people are like, I don't know if her hair is real. And I'm like, who cares? But anyway, so you get to see kind of that he's, he's super flirtatious, but he's very, very, he definitely holds himself very well in a conversation, and he flirts well. He's very charismatic. And then we meet Edwin, who is salt and pepper. He has like braces. He's really, really good looking. And I'm just going to go ahead and put up just disclaimer. All of the people that they picked for this show, Jesus. Just Jesus. Women, men. Let's just put that out there. Disclaimer. Anyway. So he comes and he sits with Joy and Kalfani, and he also interjects that he's a chef because Kalfani's talking about cooking, and then she's like, "Oh, too cooking." Then we meet Denise, who, by the way, her bone structure is everything. Okay, she reminds me of Issa Rae, but her lips are like a lot fuller, and I feel like she's a lot softer. And so she's like, hey, I'm 5'10". She's like, I think a field and track coach. She's like, I'm 5'10", my attitude 5'10", everything 5'10". I was like, go ahead, get a girl. And I can already tell you from watching the episode that I want to like her, but her attitude sometimes comes off a little like standoffish. Like it does come off standoffish sometimes. But she looks absolutely gorgeous. And then we see Winter, who is wearing that orange dress. Like, damn, girl. Like, yeah, I could watch her just walk around in that orange dress for the rest of the episode, okay? And Winter also, pairs off with Kalfani, and they're talking about how big the muscles are. Basically, this whole first part is just everybody just kind of seeing how the flirtation is going and seeing how easy the conversation is going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So some of it is like a little awkward and some of it is not. One of the more awkward situations, we just gonna get into it right now. One of the more awkward ones was that when Denise and Rashid paired off, and it was a very standoffish type of situation. It was like they were ribbing back and forth on the colleges they went to, and it didn't seem like that nice kind of banter or whatever. And she was like, oh, I can't cheers to you, there's a bug in my drink. And he's all like, I don't know, he made some kind of comment saying that, oh, the bug's okay or some shit. Anyway, as like any woman, she was just like, nah, I'm gonna get a glass. But again, I feel like the little things that she kind of got upset about with him were valid, but she just seemed to be a little too upset about it. Is it just me? I think that's just was my feeling. But then when she has her sit down with Count Fine, okay, that's what we're gonna call him, okay? When she goes ahead and sits down with him, like, yo, when I say the attitude changed, it was such a 180. Like, she was just so like open and soft and like trying to get to know him. And I'm talking like she took off her shoes and put her legs on his lap. And listen, if you touching my feet like that, we go together. Like that, like that. That's too. But then I also have weird boundaries about my feet. So maybe that's why I feel that way. But that's just how I felt. I was just like, girl, oh Jesus, like let him buy you dinner first. Like, oh, that's just me. That's just me. But but they had this awesome conversation where she actually like delved deep and talked about a domestic violence relationship she had gone through prior, and how it was really toxic. And she was like so grateful to be out of it and be here and have the next one and have the next like open. She's open for the next relationship, basically, is what I'm saying. And it was just such a nice like conversation. Like, it was so nice. And then to the point where I was just like, man, the girl I met before when she was talking to Rashid, she just wasn't feeling him at all. That's all that was. At least that's what, my thinking was. Anyway, then we meet, because I'm only going to talk about like the bigger type situations, because the other little ones really don't matter, and we'll get to know them all as it goes on. Then we have Simone, right? I'm not gonna lie, I did not like her this episode. I did not like Simone. Simone had these like interactions with people where she was just always asking people like what kind of passport, or not what kind, do you have a passport? And then she's like, in her confessional, she's literally saying like, oh well, how can you tell me I'm the prettiest girl in the world and you never been nowhere? And I'm just like, all right, so we just as deep as a puddle over here. All right, I guess that's fine. And then there's this, God, I think his name is Michael. I have to go back and look, but she goes up to a gentleman who I thought was just so gorgeous. And he was from the country. He was just chocolate and everything. So she's sitting down talking to him, and she's like, do you have a passport? And he's like, yeah, I'm actually planning on going to DR this June, right? And she was just like, what are you going to DR for? Hookers? Prostitutas? Like, bro. And he cleverly said back, what, they thought you was one when you was out there? Like, what happened? And she was like, shut up. How could you say that about me? He was like, you was trying to give him to me. I didn't want him. It gave him like a point, like a half a point. I was just like, all right, at least you clever. At least you clever. I appreciate that. But it just seemed like she was rubbing me the wrong way with a lot of her conversations and how it went. I just didn't really quite like that. Then we meet KJ, all right? And KJ is a radio host. He is in a fuchsia suit. He is he's such a gorgeous man. And I feel like I'm saying that for every man out here, and I must seem so thirsty, but I don't care. They look good. And he's wearing this fuchsia suit, and he's like, he looked like he glistening. Like, I feel like he overdid it a little bit, the baby oil, but he was like glistening. And he meets up with this girl, Naya. I feel like it was just an instant connection. They actually start talking, and they take off their shoes, and they go off in the grass, and they talk about the concept of grounding and feeling closer to the earth. And I was just like, ooh, y'all like each other. Okay. I thought that their little union that they had right there, I thought that was definitely a spark that I for sure noticed. To be honest, we meet Danny, who I thought was awesome. She was funny, she was curvy, she was wearing that green dress, she was cracking jokes. I thought she was like super charismatic, but for whatever reason, she gave, I guess, everybody homie vibes. I thought that shit was crazy, to be honest with you, because I felt like she was like really, you know what it is? I'm a little bitter because I felt like that would be me. I would be, cracking jokes and just, trying to be myself. And then, men would be like, oh, well, I thought of her as the homie. And I'd be like, word? Okay. So I felt a little upset about that, to be honest. When they were getting their feedback from the men, that is what they said. And then, what's his name? Hold on. So, and then we meet Sam. Poor awkward ass Sam. It was so bad. I felt so bad for Sam. I wanted to fast forward past this part so bad because they were so awkward and they were so cringy. Like, he would be trying to talk to somebody. Like, she was talking to a woman who was a chef, and he was like, do you think that's something you can do long term? Like, are you sure? Like, it was really awkward, and he couldn't make eye contact, and I felt bad for Sam. Let's not even play. Sam goes home. Sam went home. Okay. Sam went home. But who was also on the chopping block, I'm going to have to stop to go get his name, so insert here. But he used to tour with Tank and Genuine, and he's got 5 kids from 4 different women. But he's like, okay, how much do I not believe in this? I don't believe anything he says, I'm sorry. And I know this is terrible and I'm being judgy, but, and it's not even so much his past, it's kind of the things that he says. It almost feels performative. That whenever he's speaking to the women, he's just he had a conversation with one of the younger women, Adriana, who also said something along the lines of, I know I'm one of the younger women here, so I don't, want any problems. And I was just like, everybody's gorgeous, calm down. But she was having a conversation with him where he was saying, in his confessional about that conversation, younger women really get me. Younger women really understand me. And I'm like, yeah, because they don't know as much. Like little comments like that. I was just like, oh Lord, here we go. And he was just saying that, I don't want anybody to judge me for my past. And obviously nobody wants to be judged for their past. But that's a lot to swallow. I'm trying to put myself in that position. And a man tells me he's got 5 kids. He's 52. He's got 4 different baby mothers. And that's a lot to swallow, my dude. Let's just be honest. I'm just going to be real. That's a lot. And he's a handsome guy. But that's the guy, a lot. Okay? And speaking of Adriana, she and Rashid have a little bit of history where I guess she ghosted him on a date or something. Anyway, apparently there's no hard feelings. Because they were both just getting out of relationships, so nobody really cared about what was going on. But now they're here on this journey together, and I guess they're happy to see each other. Whatever. But I also realized that Adriana, I actually kind of like her, but I feel like I don't want to say she's naive because she really may not be. She comes off green to this a little bit, and I'm only 2 years older than she is, but it just feels that's the general feeling that I'm getting. So anyway, fast forward past all of this. Now we just gonna call him Steve Harvey brother. Steve Harvey brother come out. He hosts this whole thing, and he says that we are going to be getting rid of 2 people tonight. They are not even going to be staying at this gorgeous resort even for the evening. They got to go home. So they go to the men, and like I said earlier, they say that Danny kind of feels like a homeboy. And Simone's conversation was trash. Okay, he enunciated trash real good. Okay. And then on the other side with the women, they spoke about Raymond, 52, 5 kids. The girl, he was a hoe. He's a hoe renewed, but hopefully not in his hoedom, So we've got, and then we also have awkward ass Sam. Awkward. Poor awkward Sam. So, and then of course, like I said, two people are going home, and sadly they send Danny home, which I was a little upset about. And then of course they send Sam home because you got to be able to follow a conversation. Let's be honest. But anyway, that was the first episode of Ready to Love. I am about to go ahead and reload so I can go ahead and watch the second one and come back with my second review. Thanks so much for tuning in and just having fun with me. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I'm going to be posting this wherever Ready to Love may be watched. And go ahead and just click into the link below and follow me on all the platforms. And bye, guys.